Hello, dreamer, and welcome to Dreamy Minds, where science becomes a soft, soothing pathway into sleep. Before we drift upward, here's where we're going tonight. We're rising into the sky to follow the life of a cloud, from the moment water rises as invisible vapor to the birth of a cloud, to the families they form, the colors they glow with, and the gentle rain that falls when they finally let go. A full journey from evaporation to rainfall, told slowly, softly, and designed to help you drift into deep rest. Take a slow breath in and let it melt out. Here, you're safe to unwind, safe to be curious without effort, safe to float. And if these calming science sleep stories help you relax, make sure to subscribe so you can return to this quiet corner of the night anytime you need it. And if you want a reason to stay, this may be the most surprising part. The simple clouds you see every day hold secrets about how the entire planet breathes, cools, warms, and renews itself. And tonight you'll hear that story in the calmest way possible. Now, let's rise into the clouds and begin. The night begins with a gentle settling, a slow exhale from the world around you. Before you fully sink into rest, you notice the faintest wisp above you, the very first hint of a cloud beginning to form. It's small, delicate, almost invisible, but it's the quiet spark of a story already unfolding. Most people never realize it, but this tiny shift in the sky is the exact moment a cloud begins its life. And you're here for it, witnessing the very first breath of something that will soon drift across the world. This is where your journey begins. Now allow yourself to settle more deeply. Imagine lying beneath a wide, open sky. The colors of the day melt into evening, warm gold fading into soft blue, blue melting into quiet gray. The air around you feels cool and gentle, like a soft hand resting on your skin. Take a long breath in and let it float out. Feel the surface beneath you support your weight. Your shoulders soften, your jaw loosens, and the space behind your eyes begins to widen with calm. Your breath becomes unhurried, moving in slow waves. Above you, the sky stretches wide and velvety. At first it seems empty, but as your awareness relaxes, the first thin strands of cloud begin to appear. They drift slowly, effortlessly, the way thoughts move when you are just beginning to fall asleep. These clouds don't rush. They don't demand attention. They glide, stretch, curl, and dissolve with complete ease. And as you watch them, your body instinctively mirrors their softness. Another breath in and out. The sounds around you grow muted, wrapped in softness. Your awareness rises gently, as though your mind is floating upward just a little, drifting toward the open sky. As twilight settles, the clouds above catch the last threads of light. Their edges glow in pale silver, shimmering like quiet whispers. There is an ancient familiarity to them, as though they've crossed oceans and centuries to meet you here tonight. With each breath, you feel yourself drift more into their rhythm. A lightness, a lifting, a slow release. Imagine now that gravity itself loosens its hold on you. Not enough to lift you from where you rest, but just enough for your inner world to rise, like mist gently lifting from the earth. The clouds above you open a soft, welcoming space, The air here feels cool and tender, brushing your cheeks with the gentlest motion. The sky expands around you in soft layers of blue and gray, all blending like watercolors washed together. Below, the world quiets. Above, only stillness remains. One cloud glides close, thin, delicate, feather-like. Another follows, slow and full, like a memory drifting back into view. Their shapes shift in silence, a curl, a ribbon, an island of vapor. These clouds carry stories, old, patient, timeless. And tonight, you drift with them. You'll follow the journey of how they're born, how they wander, how they color the sky, and how they finally release their weight. But for now, this is simply your arrival. A soft entrance, a gentle beginning. Take another breath. Let it lift. Let it fall. Feel the sky open around you. Feel the quiet deepen. Tonight you drift with the clouds and learn their secrets. Imagine for a moment the world beneath you. Oceans stretching like shimmering mirrors. Lakes resting quietly between hills. Leaves holding tiny jewels of moisture from the day. All of this water, in its stillness, waits for the soft invitation of warmth. Not heat that overwhelms, but a gentle touch from the sun, the kind that coaxes rather than commands. And here's a little secret to carry with you into this moment. Every cloud you've ever seen began with something so small you could hold thousands of them on the tip of your finger. Tiny droplets, invisible at first, rising up to write the sky's next chapter. As the warmth settles over the surface of the water, something subtle begins to happen. Tiny particles, so small they can't be seen, loosen their hold. They rise, not in a rush, but in a drifting, swirling dance, as though each droplet has suddenly remembered it once belonged to the sky. From oceans, lakes, rivers, and even the quiet breath of trees, these invisible threads of vapor rise upward, curling like soft ribbons. Picture yourself floating with them now. Feel your body becoming light, almost transparent. Each breath you take is gentle, effortless, carrying you upward alongside these whisper-thin trails of mist. The air around you is warm at first, holding the memory of sunlight. But as you drift higher, the warmth slowly fades. The air grows cooler, softer, quieter. And here is where the next transformation begins. A moment so delicate it's easy to miss, yet powerful enough to shape entire weather patterns. Up here, the vapor begins to change. Each tiny piece of water, once free and rising, begins to meet others. They brush together like fingertips grazing in passing. And in the cooler air, something magical unfolds. Each particle begins to transform. No longer invisible mist, they become tiny droplets, shining just for a moment like crystal dust. This is condensation, the moment where warmth and coolness meet, where change becomes creation. Imagine those droplets gathering around you, forming gentle clusters. At first they drift loosely, like dancers in a slow, wandering waltz. But then they begin to gather more purposefully, joining hands, linking arms, finding unity. Not quickly, not urgently, just steadily, patiently. One droplet meets another, then another, hundreds, thousands, millions, billions. Softly, silently, a cloud begins to take shape. You can feel it forming around you. A faint coolness brushing your cheeks. A delicate softness wrapping around your arms like a shawl. woven from breath. The droplets cling to one another with the lightest touch, forming a structure that feels both airy and full, delicate and abundant. From the outside, a cloud may seem like a single shape, but from within, it feels alive, a gathering of countless tiny worlds, each droplet holding a memory of where it came from: the wide ocean, the quiet river bank, the morning dew on a leaf. As you float inside this newborn cloud, you feel weightless, suspended in a place where gravity seems undecided. The cloud cradles you, as though you're drifting in a nest of cool, luminous air. The droplets around you shimmer faintly, reflecting the soft light filtering down from the sky above. They pulse with quiet energy, forming, dissolving, reforming, as though breathing. The cloud itself moves, not in a straight line, but in a gentle drift, carried by the wind like a lullaby moving through the night. You rise a little higher with it. The world below becomes softer, smaller. The details blur, replaced by the feeling of floating between layers of sky. You notice how the droplets shift and swirl, always changing, always finding new ways to belong to one another. A cloud is never still, never fixed. It is a moment, a gathering, a delicate balance. From these tiny droplets will come the colors of sunsets, the families of clouds, and the rain that eventually falls back to the earth. The entire sky is already preparing for what comes next. As you drift with it, you feel a calm sense of belonging too, as if you, like the droplets, have been gently guided to this place. You feel yourself becoming part of the rhythm of evaporation and condensation, the quiet cycle that has shaped clouds for millions of years. Take a soft breath in and let it go. The air is cool. The cloud is alive around you. Tonight, you float within its birth, carried effortlessly by the sky. As the newborn cloud carries you higher, its soft edges begin to thin and drift, opening a wider view of the sky around you. The delicate droplets that cradled you now release you gently into a broader world. A sky filled not with one cloud, but with many. And just as people gather in families with different shapes, stories, and temperaments, clouds do the same. Take a slow breath in and imagine yourself drifting into this community of sky dwellers. High above, so high the air feels crisp and delicate, you meet these cirrus clouds. They stretch across the sky like silver threads, long and feather-light. Cirrus are the high, icy wanderers, made of tiny crystals that shimmer with pale sunlight. As you glide past them, they rustle softly, like silk brushing together in a quiet breeze. They feel ancient, watchful, endlessly roaming. A little lower, the air warms and the shapes grow fuller. Here, cumulus clouds gather, the cotton-soft castles. They rise in bright, rounded towers that seem almost playful. You drift close to one, and it reminds you of childhood afternoons spent gazing upward, finding shapes in their gentle curves. These clouds feel buoyant, as if filled with warm laughter. Drifting downward, the sky becomes softer, dimmer. Stratus clouds appear next, the low, gentle blankets. They stretch wide and even, covering the sky like a comforting sheet. As you pass through their faint gray mist, it wraps lightly around your skin. These clouds ask for nothing. They simply rest, offering calm presence without form or fuss. From these quiet layers, you move into deeper, cooler air. Nimbus clouds gather here, the rain bearers. They darken not from anger, but from fullness. Holding the stories, they are almost ready to return to the earth. Moisture settles on your eyelashes as you drift through their thick embrace. They feel heavy with purpose, tender with release. And then rising in the distance like a vast mountain, you see the cumulonimbus. These are the storytellers of storms. Their great towers reach toward the edge of the atmosphere, their bases shadowed, their sides glowing with slanted afternoon light. Though powerful, they do not frighten you. You hover safely near them, feeling the low, ancient rumble that lives within them, a reminder of nature's grander rhythms. As you float among these cloud families, you sense how perfectly they all fit together. Some glide softly, some billow, some stretch, some shadow, yet each one plays its part in shaping the sky's endless moods. You drift from one type to the next, feeling your body loosen further, your breath slow deeper. The clouds welcome you as though you've always been part of this quiet, moving world. Surrounded by softness, texture, and shifting forms, you begin to understand something simple and beautiful. The sky is never empty. It is alive, layered, expressive, full of characters, each with a gentle story to tell. Take another slow breath, letting it expand through your chest. Tonight you float among the cloud families, at home in their gentle company. As you continue drifting through the sky, the light around you begins to shift, soft at first, then deepening, spreading like paint dissolving across a canvas. You may not notice it immediately, but every color, every glow, every shadow cast across the clouds is part of a quiet dance between sunlight and the tiny droplets around you. Take a slow breath in and let your awareness widen. Clouds do not create their own light. They borrow it, catching it, bending it, scattering it in 1,000 directions. And in this gentle scattering, the sky learns how to glow. During the day, when the sun sits high and bright, light streams through the atmosphere in straight, confident lines. These beams are made up of every color, reds, yellows, greens, blues, all traveling together. But the tiny droplets inside clouds are like soft mirrors. When sunlight meets them, it spreads out in many directions, bouncing between droplets like whispers passing through a crowded room. This scattering of light makes clouds appear bright and white from below, glowing like lanterns suspended in the sky. You drift near one now, and its brightness feels soft rather than sharp, a diffused glow that wraps around you rather than shining directly into your eyes. But as the sun begins to lower, the story changes. The light must travel farther through the atmosphere to reach the clouds, passing through layers of air, dust, moisture, and tiny particles that act like veils. The blue and violet hues, which scatter easily, are filtered out first like lighter threads pulled from a tapestry. What remains, the warmer tones of red, orange, and gold, continue their journey. And when these warm colors reach the clouds, they embrace them. Imagine a soft brush painting the edges of a cloud with rose gold or amber. That is what happens at sunrise and sunset. You float beside a drifting cumulus, watching its rim glow like the edge of a candle flame. The colors melt and mingle, apricot, peach, honeyed yellow, blending into the sky with dreamlike ease. Take another breath. Let your thoughts slow and drift with the shifting light. Sometimes clouds darken instead of glowing. This happens when they grow thick and heavy, full of droplets or even ice crystals that block light rather than scatter it. The lower you drift into these dense layers, the dimmer the world becomes. It isn't frightening. It feels like stepping into a quiet, shadowed room where the air cools and the light softens. Storm clouds, especially the great cumulonimbus giants, deepen into charcoal grays and blues because so much light is absorbed or scattered away before it can pass through. The darkness is simply a sign of fullness, of a cloud preparing to release its stored stories as rain. Then, sometimes, something magical happens. A rainbow forms. It begins when sunlight enters a droplet. Inside that tiny sphere, the light slows, bends, separates, like a secret being gently pulled apart. The colors hidden within the white light spread into a fan. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. The droplet acts as both prism and painter. As you drift through a thin mist, you can almost imagine each droplet holding a tiny rainbow inside it, suspended like a memory of sunlight. When countless droplets align just right between you, the sun and the sky, those hidden colors spill outward, forming the arc of a rainbow. Up here, it feels close enough to touch. The dance of light shifts once more as the sun lowers deeper, letting purples and soft twilight blues settle onto the clouds. These cooler tones deepen the quiet of the sky, inviting the mind toward rest. Take one last, slow breath as the colors fade. Tonight you drift through the light's gentle choreography, glowing, dimming, softening, learning how clouds become the painters of the sky. As you drift through the quiet twilight sky, the air around you begins to cool in a way that feels almost deliberate, as though the atmosphere itself is guiding you toward softness, toward surrender. The clouds you float among are full now, carrying the stories they've gathered from oceans, rivers, forests, and fields. Each droplet inside them has risen, joined, transformed. And now something new begins. Take a long, slow breath in, and let it fall gently out. Precipitation begins not with force, but with release. Inside the cloud, countless droplets move together in a slow, rhythmic dance. At first, they are light enough to stay suspended, held by the gentle upward currents of air, but as they meet one another, merging, growing, combining, they begin to feel heavier, fuller, more complete. A moment arrives when the cloud can no longer hold them, not as an act of burden, but as an act of letting go. Rain begins this way. Imagine the droplets around you gathering their courage, gathering their weight, and then, with a soft sigh, falling downward. The first drop slips through the cloud like a bead of silver, then another and another. Soon, a soft curtain of rain begins to descend. As you watch, it feels like the sky itself is exhaling. These droplets fall slowly at first, drifting past you like tiny pearls. Each one carries the memory of where it came from. The shimmer of sunlight on a lake, the hush of a rainforest leaf, the cool breath of early morning dew. The rain does not hurry. It simply lets itself fall, trusting gravity to guide it home. You drift with it for a moment, feeling the coolness of the air deepen around you. The world below softens under the veil of falling water. You hear nothing, yet the silence feels full, as though each drop creates a tiny note in a quiet symphony made just for you. Now imagine the air growing colder still. Higher up, where the clouds reach toward the upper atmosphere, droplets freeze into delicate crystals. What once was liquid becomes geometry, branching, spinning, shaping itself into something both fragile and mathematical. These crystals join together, forming snowflakes, each one a tiny piece of art. Snow begins this way, not with noise, but with transformation. You watch as the first flakes drift past you, luminous and weightless. They float rather than fall, moving on the breeze like feathers. Some melt on your skin as they pass. Others keep their perfect crystalline form long enough for you to admire their symmetry. The sky feels quieter here, as though snow hushes the world with its presence. Take another slow breath. Let your body grow heavier. Let your mind grow softer. Whether rain or snow, the falling water guides you downward, gently, peacefully. You follow its path, drifting lower and lower, returning toward the comforting pull of the earth. The clouds thin above you, their stories released, their burdens softened. Below, the land is wrapped in stillness. Rain taps softly on leaves and rooftops. Snow settles like whispered lullabies over the ground. Every sound, every sensation carries a quiet rhythm, slow, steady, soothing. You feel yourself aligning with that rhythm, your breath, your heartbeat, your drifting mind. The journey has carried you through the birth of clouds, their families, their colors, and now their release. All that remains is rest. As you settle into the soft embrace of night, let yourself drift the way the raindrops do, effortlessly, naturally, without thought. Let your thoughts fall away like snowflakes, dissolving into the earth. There is nothing to do now, nothing to hold, nothing to carry, just rest. Tonight the sky lets go, and so do you. Sink gently into sleep, held by the quiet rhythm of the rain and the endless softness of the clouds above.